What's the most effed up thing you did in a sleepover? I peed on my friend's couch during a sleepover. I was 10, kinda old to pee the bed. I know. I woke up in a panic of course, but discovered the couch cushions weren't sewed to the couch and they were identical on both sides. So I flipped that shit, changed into a spare pair of shorts, and went to sleep. A year later while I was at that friend's house, his mom discovered my huge, yellow piss stain on the bottom of a couch cushion. Of course she didn't suspect me. My friend's little sister took the heat. It was me, Mrs. Schofield. I pissed on your couch and let it soak for a year. Walked home while everyone was asleep. Didn't tell my friend, didn't tell their parents, didn't tell my parents, just crawled out a window at my friend's house and crawled in a window with my own. Went to bed. Not a single person looked for me in the morning. I had a sleepover at a friend's house, preteen boys, so we were stuffed in one little bed. I got a nosebleed, but slept through it for about an hour. I noticed eventually and got up to tend to it. My friend woke up while I was in the bathroom to what looked like a scene from a horror movie. I did not get a second sleepover. How did you find out your significant other was cheating on you? Dated for 2 years until one day, out of the blue she says she's not happy anymore and breaks up with me. It sucked but I figured it was for the best if she wasn't happy. About a week after we had broken up I saw her at the bar with some guy who she sheepishly admitted she was on a date with. Later that night I end up standing next to him ordering drinks. He apologized to me for the awkwardness. Yeah, it's just weird since we've only been broken up for a few days and she's already dating. He pauses. A few days? She and I have been seeing each other for like 3 months now. We stared at each other for a second, and then my ex comes running up to pull him away from me. He shrugged her off and told her to go F herself and then left the bar. That's how I found out my ex had been cheating on me for 3 months before apparently guilt took hold and she broke up with me. I bumped into the guy a few months later and talked about it. He thought she was just really flaky but after speaking to me it just all clicked for him. We recalled the times when he couldn't reach her because she was with me and vice versa. I'm happily married now and she had to move home to live with her mom. Has a friend ever said something that just straight up ended the friendship? What happened? So, my friends and I all found out that another friend, from here on known as BG for birthday girl, had never had a surprise birthday thrown for her, and it was her dream, so we decided to make that happen. My husband planned a big get-together at another friend's house. We invited lots of friends, bought lots of food and even barbecue equipment, and really went all out. BG found out about the surprise party a few weeks beforehand by accident, and was thrilled, broke down sobbing. She was so happy because no one had ever done it for her before. Awesome. We were hyped. 2 days before the party, she texts my husband that she's changed plans and is going bowling with another friend instead. But we're invited to come. What? We were floored. And pretty pissed, and lots of people were already committed to coming to this thing. So we just had the party without her, and she texted us some super angry messages because we didn't show up for bowling. Now no one is friends with her. What's your best I didn't just dodge a bullet, but a tactical nuke story? There were a few days where all my appliances were breaking down. First the clothes washer, then the air conditioner, then the dishwasher, then one morning, before leaving for work, the refrigerator stopped cooling. I was in a terrible mood on my commute to work, and then I had a flat tire in the middle of rush hour traffic. I pulled over to the shoulder. Normally I would have got out immediately and started changing it. I can change a tire in 5 minutes, it wouldn't have even made me late. But everything breaking in the days leading up to this flat had me defeated. I rested my head on the steering wheel a few seconds and said out loud why me when, almost as an answer, I was hit from behind. Traffic has slowed because of my pulling over, and an ambulance driver transporting a patient between hospitals decided to go around the traffic by driving in the breakdown lane. Damage to my vehicle was minor, but if it had been any other day I would have been taking my jack and spare out at that moment and been crushed between my car and the ambulance. Everything worked out great. I got a 5-figure settlement from the ambulance company as they were clearly at fault hitting a car in the breakdown lane. It was a non-emergency transportation of a patient, and when I got home that day, all the appliances were miraculously working again. What's the most refreshing act of I don't give a F that you've ever witnessed? One day at my old job, my old boss called everybody together because the upper management decided to cut some people out. This old lady overheard it from the bathroom, and then she zoomed out of there, grabbed her stuff and left before she could get properly fired. She then called the HR to tell them she was getting her paid vacation that was on hold, and hung up the phone before the HR could respond, and she turned off all possible contacts, like cell phone and emails. Then she took 30 days of paid vacation plus 4 days of paid sick leave plus 29 days of absence. In my country, the law says you can be absent for 29 straight days without being fired for just cause. When she came back, she was properly fired without just cause and got all benefits like unemployed insurance etc. Engineer was getting a lot of pressure put on him, lots of overtime the last couple of months, had a meeting and was getting bombarded with questions and a lot of hostile comments from management. He stopped for a few seconds and said I'm out of here and walked out of the meeting. The project came to a screeching halt which lasted 2 months until people came up to speed. What disturbing thing did you find out about someone after they died? When my step-grandmother died, we found out she was unloading my grandfather's money to her daughter who was born from her previous marriage. My grandfather was in cognitive decline in his later years and his health was failing. She got him to sign all kinds of things. She bought her daughter's $200,000 house for $1.8 million, put it in her name, so her daughter could keep living there. $9,999 gifts every year to her daughter and grandkids, bought their cars. Investments in her name that would transfer to her daughter when she died. Over a 5-year period she was able to transfer close to $8 million. Every time we would see her she would talk about how great it was to a family, how wonderful it was that everyone got together, etc. She acted like the sweetest old lady while the entire time she was ripping off my family. Every time we saw her daughter, who lived in another state, she was the nicest person to us, while taking all of the money. She truly expected to outlive the old man. Everybody did. And she had everything set up perfectly, except she died before he did. Just died of natural causes in her sleep. Shocked everyone. I mean, you had this frail old man who couldn't stay awake for more than an hour at a time that was reliving memories from 75 years ago every time you spoke to him, and a vibrant, granted elderly, healthy lady he was married to, and he outlived her. By the time she died my grandfather was in really bad shape, mentally and physically. We had to clean out her things and we found all of the paperwork, every last detail. He couldn't comprehend what she had done, and after trying to tell him about it a couple of times, we stopped trying. Nothing could be done legally. Her daughter was set for life. When there is money involved, people become vultures. What has someone done to you to make you never trust them again? My mom really effed with my undying trust I had in her as a child. She would tell us we were going to Disney World, all up to the point of having us pack, just for Dad to come home and say we barely have money for food, we're not ever going to Disney. But the mega big papa trust issue was when I got in a car accident at about 12 to 13 years old. I wasn't hurt terribly bad, but my mom made a huge claim to get a bunch of money. I had to go to physical therapy and fake injuries, and she took the $2,500 and went on a vacation, without me. Gave him money to buy a birthday gift for a mutual friend. He ended up using it on his girlfriend for a trip to the water park and a bouquet of flowers. Sweet of him, but he got no more loans from me. They discussed an issue with a mutual friend, my issue, no one else's, that I specifically asked they not discuss with anyone. Only found out when having a few drinks with both friends when mutual friends refers to issue. First friend then says, well, I had to talk it over with someone, as though it was my fault for expecting her not to gossip. Obviously I don't discuss anything personal with that person anymore. What's something a friend has said to you that changed the way you look at them? I have a friend who somehow never seems down or sad, so I always thought he was just a happy kind of guy. But one day I was complaining about some stupid shit that happened at work. It was over some small exchange that didn't really matter in the long run, but I was letting it get to me hours later. After 10-15 minutes of me venting and saying today was a shitty day, he simply asked me, are you having a bad day, or did you have a bad 5 minutes and you're letting ruin your whole day? Made me realize it's up to me to have a good day, and that he goes through day-to-day shit too, but knows how to handle it. It made me realize that he wasn't just a happy kind of guy, he was a wise person. My first year of college I was feeling a bit lonely at Christmas time because things weren't working out for me to get back home with family for the holidays. One of the friends I'd met on campus first semester invited me to spend the holidays with him and his family and to meet his friends back home. It was as if he and his family had adopted me for the occasion, and made me feel truly included and part of the entire experience, as did his friends there too. His invitation made all the difference and was the start for me to do similar good deeds for others.